Hey, what's up, folks? It's me, Kendall Desmond, here with a new episode of TNE, the Nirvana Experience. Um, Calvin, people who listen to TNE know who he is. Calvin, uh, advised me, not to talk about this situation on TNE. But the type of relationship that I got with the audience, I always been upfront and honest about a lot of stuff, and I talk about a lot of shit that goes on in my life. So with that being said, um, from this episode forward, Kali, he ain't gonna be a host on the Nirvana Experience anymore. Um, it really just basically come down to one big misunderstanding, if you ask me. But we sit on this podcast and we talk about women and how men act like women and all that type of stuff. And for stuff to go down the way it did, I mean, we don't have no bad blood or nothing like that between each other. It's just the fact that, you know what I'm saying, I feel like the situation could have been handled differently, especially over something so simple. Now, like I said, I won't go get into it, but I'm gonna tap in on it a little bit because I don't think he understand what happened. So I'm gonna clarify it right now. And to be honest, I don't even know if he's gonna listen to this episode or not, but I'm gonna talk about it. All right, so this whole issue stemmed over a conversation that me and Carl had a couple months ago, like a month or two ago, and it's about rock music. So, for one, I feel like he think he be knowing everything because he be playing guitar and all that type of stuff, but don't nobody care about that. I be knowing what I be talking about, and me going over these text messages, and going back and looking at the text messages, I'm looking out like, bro, we basically saying the same thing, but he combating me on it. All right, so the whole conversation stemmed from us talking about the genre of rock music, right? And my whole argument in that whole conversation was yacht rock, classic rock, you know what I'm saying, grunge, all that shit. Even though it's subgenres of rock, it's still considered rock music. And he was like, it's different. And in the text message I'm looking at, I'm like, it's different, but it's still rock. He was even saying the same thing that I was saying. He was like, it's different, but he didn't want to, he said it's not rock. So then when we started going into the comparisons about different stuff. So, so I text him the other day to see when he gonna be ready to record the Nirvana Experience. And in the text message, he told me he was like he don't want to be on the podcast no more. So I'm thinking something happened. You know what I'm saying? I told him I hope he be alright and everything good with him and shit. But then he talking about I lied on him on the episode when Calvin was on. We were talking about the rock stuff. First of all, I didn't lie. I don't got time to be lying no more. So I didn't lie. And the first thing he said, I play music, so I know the difference in tuning and chord progression and scale usage. What the fuck? That don't even got nothing to do with what we talking about. First of all. And that goes back to what I was saying. He be thinking he be knowing everything about everything. And I don't know nothing. When I be knowing what I be talking about. And he was like, he gave me the same answer, and I changed my response to match Calvin, and I threw him up under the bus. So when I had to come, I ain't gonna even talk about what Calvin said, but anyway. And he was like, once he heard that, he said, once I heard that, I didn't want to do podcasting no more because I see a lot of people do stuff like that, and I don't want to be one of them people. I don't want to shit with you. I'm like, okay. It made me mad when I first read that shit, but I was like, you know what? God bless y'all. Praise the Most High. Because, like I said, we sit here and talk about men not acting like men, and acting like women. This man sit on this podcast and talk about everything. We talk about the stuff that's going on with Halle Bailey and DDG, like everything that's in the media, talking about how these men be fucking up, how these women be fucking up. And the main thing he didn't address the situation like a man. And then from what I heard, a lot of men that I talked to about this situation, when they were like they would have never even just worried about this shit anyway because it ain't that serious. And I didn't think it was that serious, but apparently he felt some type of way about it. So I always tell people, you can't tell a person how they're supposed to feel. Everybody's entitled to how they feel. So since he felt that way, he's entitled to feel that way. I wouldn't handle that shit like that because like it ain't, to me it's not that serious. So going back to uh what we were talking about in the text message. Uh I said I'm gonna start off where we start talking about it. So I said grunge rock is a subgenre of rock. He said, "See, you get confused in the genre of rock. It's a subgenre. You should just say grunge." But listen to what he said. I said grunge is rock. It's a subgenre of rock. And he said, "See, you get confused in the genre of rock. It's a subgenre. You should just say grunge." That's literally the same. I literally just said that. I just said that. But you know what I'm saying? I let him say what he said, and I just said it's rock. Uh, there we go. I just said it's rock. I literally just said it's rock. And then he text back just like Neo Soul. That shit ain't the same as R&B. That's like saying mama rap is battle rap. But the whole thing I was trying to get him to understand was I didn't say it was the same, but it's rock at the same time. So after he said that about the battle rap and the neo soul stuff, I said yacht rock. Yacht rock is rock, just a different form of it. Mumble rap is rap. It's a form of rap that was invented from rap. So he said, so it's an apple pie. He said, so an apple pie is an apple. And I said, like when he said that, I looked at him like, what the fuck? But I was like, an apple pie came from an apple. That's why it's called apple pie. It's literally apple in the pie. So if you take the apple out, it's not gonna be apple pie no more. So he said, so this pie in my hand is a red apple, is what you saying. I'm like, he was like, I'm looking at an apple, the same one on the tree. And I said, I text back, if an apple wasn't in the pie, then there'll be something else other than apple pie. If you see an apple on the tree, it's an apple tree, not an orange tree. So he said, so he texted back, so this pie is an apple, is what you saying. And then I was like, bruh, it's an apple pie. If it's apple in it, it's not an apple. It's still a pie. It just have apple in it. So, for example, you have three different pies. You have apple pie, cherry pie, blueberry pie. All of them are pies, but they have different flavors of pies. They don't make it not just because it's an apple pie and a blueberry pie. They don't make it no less of a pie. It's just a different pie, but it's still a pie at the end of the day. That's basically what I was saying throughout this whole conversation. But he was taking it a different way. So he was like, and a block of ice can be drink like water too, can't it? And I just ignored that. So I said, like with rock, you got metal rock, classic rock, soft rock, etc. All of it is rock music. He was like, these are all different things, hence the tabs and subgenres. And I said, all of it derives from rock. He said, they don't make it the same. You see how he's saying it, but I'm saying the same thing too. I'm not saying it's the same thing. Rock, all of it is rock, but it's different versions of rock. But at the end of the day, it's still rock music. So I said all of it derives from rock. He said that don't make it the same. I said it's not the same, but it's rock. Then we started getting into some other stuff. He was like, just like Esau come from us, but we definitely not the same. Chinese and Japanese are Oriental, but they not the same. And he said Mexican and Latino not the same. I said, cool. Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese, Korean, and Taiwanese are all Asian, But within Asia, they are all different races, but they still Asian. It's the same way with rock. He said, I'll play a classic rock song, then play a punk rock. He said, I'll play a classic rock song, then play punk rock, and have to completely learn guitar all over again. Different chords, different tunes, different string progress. And I said, but it's still a form of rock. Listen to what he said. I'll play a rock song, then play punk rock. Punk rock has the word rock in it. That's what I'm trying to get. Like me going over these text messages and reading them, making me lose my mind. I'm like, bro, how is this man not seeing? How is this man not understanding? And I said, but it's still a form of rock, just different. And he was like, then that makes it not the same. And then I said, because if rock wasn't invented, none of those subgenres would exist. And basically what I like, he's saying the same thing I'm saying. The subgenres are different, but at the base core of all of it is rock music. So I don't understand his process of thinking, especially when it came down to that Apple shit. But like I said, me and bro don't got no issue. But like I said, this like TNE, like I talk about everything, and I was gonna let it go. But my mind wouldn't let me sleep. I literally couldn't sleep off that shit last night, for real. Because I just couldn't believe that it came down to that. Like, I can't tell a person what they should or should do, like how they should handle situations and shit. But the way I think about it and how I go about shit, if I have a problem with somebody, I address it. If I feel some type of way with somebody, I'll address it because I believe that's what men should do. Especially when it's with one of my friends, one of my people who I grew up with and got so close to over the years. I don't have no problems. Like, it's been times where I've been fucking up and doing shit wrong. They'll get on my ass. Same thing, vice versa. I get on their ass when they doing something wrong. So it shouldn't be no difference. I felt that he should have just came to me and be like, damn, fool. Like, even if he would have made a joke about it, he was like, damn, fool, yo, it threw me up under the bus. Then I was like, what you talking about? And then that's when I would have went back into how I just explained it on TNE just now. That's how I would have went and explained it to him then. Because even when me and Calvin had the conversation on TNE, we was slick disagreeing with some shit because like what he was saying about Kiss and all that type of stuff. But I'm gonna play the part that he said that I lied on him with. So I just read the text message. I read to y'all what was said, what I said, what he said. Like, so throughout the whole argument, I was saying that rock and yacht rock and grunge and all that shit are subgenres of rock, but it's still the same. So the reason I say it's the same because it's rock. Now we're gonna go into a couple episodes ago. This episode is Divorce Within with Calvin. It was uploaded on June 14th. So I'm gonna go back and play the part where Calvin was talking and we talked about it, and I'm gonna show y'all what he said, and I'm gonna dissect it because he said I threw him on the bus. So we're gonna see how I threw him on the bus.
A lot of people don't like the Dallas Cowboys. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. One last thing. This man, we had this conversation a couple months ago.
Okay.
Sticking with the music topic, I say yacht rock, classic rock, soft rock, all that stuff is still a form of rock music because
it's different. It's different.
It's different
genres of rock.
It's still rock,
right?
See, I said that in the text message. Calvin said it's different genres of rock. Even Carl said it's different genres of rock, and I said it's still the same because it's rock. Calvin said right. So he agreed with me right then. I didn't change up what I said or nothing. Let's keep going. This man said it's not the same. I'm like, bro.
What you mean?
It's
not.
I understand that. But what I was trying to get him to understand, I said I agree with that, but what I'm trying to get you to understand that even though classic rock and metal ain't the same.
Classic only mean rock from the past. It's older.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So like stuff like Led Zeppelin,
okay,
and Metallica, Judas.
Stop. When you said Led Zeppelin and Metallica, that's two genres.
Yes,
it's all rock under the rock category.
See? And that's exactly what I said in the text message. It's different. It like even Carl said it. It's different. Me, Carl, and Calvin, we on one accord. Metallica, Led Zeppelin, two different genres of rock. But like Calvin said, under the umbrella of rock, of the category of rock, it all falls under the same category, which is rock music, which is what I was saying in the text message. I literally got the text message right here. I'm looking at it. Yacht rock, classic rock, soft rock. It's rock, and all of it is the same. It's still considered rock. And the very next text message that I see, he said it's not the same. When I just sat here and I said the same thing, I literally said the same thing that I said to him in this text message to Calvin, and Calvin just said the same thing I said. So how am I throwing him up under the bus? Let's go.
But it's different.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what I was trying to get him to understand. Like, bro, all of it is rock. They just make different types of rock. Exactly. All of it is rock. It's just different subgenre. I understood that. But he talking about it's different chord progression. He got to learn different chords and relearn guitar and everything. And the brother said, he even said he played classic rock, then had to turn around and play punk rock. I'm like, bruh, I read that text message again, because I'm reading it again now. The word rock is literally within the title punk rock. So how is it not rock? But he said, based off this conversation, I changed up what I said to him in the text message, agreed with Calvin, and threw him up under the bus. When I literally just broke down everything that we sat here and talked about in the text message, and what we talking about in this episode of TNE. I'm gonna play a little bit more.
Right, and Bon Jovi is rock.
Right.
But it has nothing to do with Metallica.
It's just like, Journey and Judas Priest, they different.
Nothing to do with each other.
But they still make rock music.
Still rock music.
Yeah, they're all exactly, and it's still rock music. That's my only point I was trying to get bro to see. That's the only thing I was trying to get him to see. But I don't see how I threw him up under the bus. I don't see how my opinion changed with anything. I literally said the same thing in a text message to Calvin and even gave examples. And he agreed. He said, I changed to what I said and agreed with Calvin, but I still stuck to what I said and was saying what I was saying, and he was agreeing with me. That's what I be saying, bro. That's why I be getting so mad at a lot of stuff. I'm like, bro, I don't know what that man got going on personally. Hopefully he over there and he's straight. But that shit ain't bueno. That shit ain't cool. But I just had to address him not being on TNE no more, because it's gonna come a time when people ask me in the Q&A, where's Carly, like, how come he don't do we don't hear Lyrical Nonsensical no more? Cause I told bro, like, that's one of the big, like, that's a big thing. A lot of people, bro, I look at the Discord and I see y'all sending me like questions and sending him comments and stuff about Lyrical Nonsensical and shit like that. Y'all really like this shit. But like, unfortunately, he felt, like I said, he felt how he felt. Y'all won't hear Lyrical Nonsensical no more. And like, I started off doing this by myself. Well, not literally by myself, but I was recording by myself, and I'm gonna just keep going. Yeah, I'm gonna just keep going. But in the midst of me, recording this episode, he just texted me, and let me see. He said, I ain't mad at none, but in the future, if you still want me on the episode, I just want to be on the ones that Calvin on, or the ones you talk about scriptures. But it's up to you, and it's your podcast. Like I said earlier in the episode, bro, that man got an open invitation to TNE. Like, it ain't like I hate this man or nothing. Like, he can still come on in here. Like, I'm gonna have to have it set up a certain way when Calvin come on, because we record a certain way, so it's gonna be kind of harder to record with him when Calvin here, because we do it locally. So I had to set up and do a whole bunch of extra stuff, but it can be done though. And like I said, bro, I just didn't like the whole situation. Me personally, I think he just didn't really want to do TNE no more. And I think he ain't even know how to tell me, you know what I'm saying, without hurting my feelings. That's what I personally thought. I just think he didn't want to do TNE no more. And that's cool because it wasn't supposed to be no full time thing anyway. Because when I came to him about being a co-host on the Nirvana Experience, I told him like, "Hey, what you think about being a co-host for a little while and shit like that?" So it never was supposed to be a full time thing. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, me personally, this nigga had a different space in his life. You know, he on some other shit. Like he trying to be all the way spiritually correct. Like the same thing all of us should strive to be. But I do this podcast. I talk about it and talk about some of everything. So some people don't want to have they peace or they mental shit destroyed by talking about certain things. So, like I said, if he just want to be on here when we talking about scripture or whatever, I'm gonna have to find a way to. I'm gonna have to find a way to set it up, but it can be done. Like I said, it ain't no ill will towards them, man. It's just crazy how this situation just fell out like that. Cause in my head, I'm like, bruh, if I had a problem, even the slightest problem, I call and confront anybody about it. It may not even be a big deal, but I need to come to an understanding so we can have the same understanding. But like I said, I personally think he just didn't want to do TNE no more. Because he got his own thing going on, so that ain't cool. He got the Apex brand going on that he doing the Apex Fitness, and you know he do the stuff with the cars. He got his own fitness brand, and he be making shorts and all types of stuff. So, like I said, he got his own shit going on. Like so, I don't really think that he really into making content and doing shit for social media and TNE and that type of shit anyway. So, yeah. The last episode I did with Calvin, not the one that recently just got posted a couple last week, but the one before that. That episode got over 77,000 listens right now and almost 85,000 downloads. So TNE, we doing good. We got the listeners, we got the fan base. I always say I appreciate everybody for listening to the Nirvana Experience because I fuck with y'all because y'all fuck with me. But just like when it come down to stuff like this, I really don't like dealing with stuff like that. Like Carl's still straight, he's still cool and everything. But as far as him being on TNE, now if we have a conversation and he want to come on here and we talk about what happened, cool. If he never want to be on TNE again, cool. I'm not. It is what it is. I was doing it before he even came on here. This week, Cap, like if everything go according to plan, James will be on TNE either Friday or Saturday. He gonna come over here to the house and we gonna record. If it happened Friday, if it just so happened he free Friday, he gonna come over to the house and we gonna record that evening. And Calvin gonna be with us because he don't have nothing to do that Friday. But if he can't do it that Friday, he'll come over and it's just gonna be me and him that Saturday. So yeah, man, it just man, look, yeah, I just had to address that shit because like I said, I talk about everything on TNE, and I just can't talk about other folks' issues and not talk about my own stuff. And then plus, like I said, it was heavy on my heart, and I couldn't just let it just die down like that. But yeah, bro gonna be straight. He out there in Texas doing his own thing, and the Most High Most High got him. He gonna be all right out there. He just ain't gonna be part of TNE until he want to be part. Like I'm not gonna force nobody to be part of what I got going on. And until he want to come back on TNE, like he always got he got an open invitation and everything. But as far as me begging him and trying to convince him to stay on TNE, nah, we ain't doing that shit. Like nah, we ain't doing that. But he always got an open invitation to come on to TNE and talk or whatever. It's always open. We always good with it. But that's my first and last time, bringing it up. Another thing I want to talk about on the Nirvana Experience this week. A lot of people say that money can't buy happiness. A lot of people say that. And look, I'm 32 years old. I'm gonna be 33 in December. And one thing that I can say, I live in America. And one thing that I can say, I don't know if this like me growing up with not having a lot of money all the time, but one thing I can say is money. Most of most of the issues I faced in my life and growing up, like my mama raising us and all that type of stuff, came from lack of income for real, for real. Because without money, you can't live right. You can't without money, you can't buy the basic necessities that you need for your lifestyle. Like if it get to the point where you have to pick between buying food or keeping the lights on, you can't tell me not having money will fix that issue. When you in a position where you able to pay for your food with no issue, like you literally can go to the grocery store with no food stamps. But go to the grocery store, fill up your whole entire refrigerator and your pantry with food. Don't worry about the cost. Paying your utility bill. Don't worry, like not saying not worry about the cost because they'll try to get over. But don't have to worry about paying your utility bill, paying your rent and mortgage, and paying all your other bills, and still having money left over to do some stuff that you want to do. Can't nobody tell me that won't make you happier. The only people that say money can't buy happiness are the people who've been having money for a long period of time and they unhappy with their money, or the people who never been broke before. Because I can guarantee you, if a wealthy person that's used to having money, used to having nice things, if they was to switch and become an average American and don't have like the access to wealth that they do, they'll hurry up and want their old life back. I can guarantee you they would want their old life. They wouldn't want to sit around and just sit there and fucking struggle and not knowing when their next meal coming and not knowing if they're gonna be able to pay their light bill or get some big dinner or pay their car insurance and all that type of stuff. Man, they don't want to deal with this shit at all. Let me tell you something. Most Americans right now are going through financial hardships. You know what I'm saying? What's crazy about this country? It's a lot of millionaires, it's a handful of billionaires, and it's a handful of the middle class that make a couple $100,000 a year, right? The way the United States set up now, I ain't even just say the United States, but way most of the world set up now, it's so easy to make money, but hard as fuck to make money at the same time. What I mean by that? All right, with this content creation, you can become a YouTuber, make YouTube videos, or go viral on TikTok and all that type of stuff, but you got to constantly do it. And then it's hard to get the traction. And then when you finally do get the traction and start getting the views and getting the money, it's easier because now at that point, you getting the money from the engagement and you start getting brand deals. Once you start getting the brand deals, everything start falling into place, right? So with everything falling into place, and with everything falling into place with the brand deals, that branch off to you making more and more money. And then if you're smart with it, you use that money to help you make more money. It sounds easy. It sounds like you just pick up your phone and make content, but I make content. YouTube videos, TikTok videos. I do this podcast. I've been doing this shit for 2 years, and it's not as easy as you think it is because most platforms, there's so many content creators, and most platforms they don't really pay you much, so you really have to rely on brand deals and all other types of income and people willing to give you money. You know what I'm saying? Because they enjoy your content so much. So I understand the game of it. It just, you know what I'm saying, it's just harder to do. So anybody that say money don't buy happiness, they'll lie. Because I know a whole bunch of people right now, whole bunch of people, they can't even fill up all 10 of my fingers. I know a whole bunch of people, if they was to win or get even just 500,000, or man, I'm a lord, 10,000. If somebody was just to get $10,000, that's not a lot of money, but that's a lot of money to somebody who's struggling. Somebody was to get $10,000, they'll be the happiest people on earth right now. For the simple fact, for the next couple of weeks or however long that $10,000 lasts, they don't have to worry about getting big dinner. They don't have to worry about paying their light bill. They They don't have to worry about, getting clothes or paying a phone bill. The release of like the little sense of freedom that they think they have with their $10,000 will have them so happy until they start running out. So just imagine from $10,000 to $500,000. The average person get $500,000. They think they rich, but in reality, you using like $200,000 to pay taxes. Then you got $300,000 left. So there's only so much you can do with $300,000, especially if it's not a recurring $500,000. So people who sit here and say money can't buy happiness, that's a lie. That's a lie. So I had those two things on my mind. This not an official episode. Well, I'm gonna count it as an episode, but it's more of a let's talk. You know what I'm saying? This is more of a let's talk. And I just want to get that off my mind. I just want to talk because I had this shit on my mind. I couldn't even sleep last night, bro. I couldn't even sleep. So going forward, it's just gonna be me and whoever I decide to have on TNE. As always, I always say I appreciate everybody who listened to the Nirvana Experience. The new listeners, I appreciate y'all coming through, listening to me. And the reoccurring listeners, I appreciate y'all for sticking through. And until next time, peace.